Hey guys, you're tuned into a very special edition of 1700 Home, an interview with the Teskey Brothers with myself, Marcus, the daily producer.
And myself, Darcy, one of the executive producers for the 1700. Now, before we begin our interview, SYN, RMI TV and 1700 would like to acknowledge the original custodians on which we are performing the interview, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. SYN and RMI TV would also like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land our content reaches, and we pay our respects to their elders, past, present and emerging.
Now, on the other half of this Zoom call, we have Liam and Brendan from the Teskey Brothers, a blues rock band out of Melbourne.
They dropped a live album called Live at the Forum recently. Here is one half of the Teskey Brothers. Take it away, us. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. Obviously, today we have Brendan Love and Liam Go. Joined with me, Darcy and Marcus as well. And we welcome them to 1700. We wanted to talk about the Teskey Brothers' brand new album, Live at the Forum. So I wonder if you guys could just start us off a little bit, telling us how it felt to record something in the Forum.
It was pretty exciting. We took in an old tape machine actually from there's a recording engineer friend of ours, Alex Bennett, from up in Castlemaine, and he brought down his 1-inch 8-track tape machine, which weighs about, 500 kilos or something. And he brought that down from Castlemaine, wheeled it into the Forum, up all the ramps. And we set him up in the side, like the broom closet off to the side of the stage with all of his gear, and toured it across the 4 nights at the Forum. We chose the best takes, and that's what you'll hear on the album, which is, we're really proud of. It was amazing to play shows at the Forum again.
Cool.
Yeah, no, an absolutely amazing recording.
Yeah, so did you say you chose the best of the 4 or 5 nights that you played?
Yeah, we sort of went through, and there was nights where, microphones or some of the analog gear died. So even that was the best night, we couldn't necessarily use it. So there was a lot of happy accidents in there that contributed to making the album.
I'm surprised we even got a recording out of it, to be honest. Like in between all of the analog gear, playing up, and then so we had to find the best performances, but we also had to find the performances that were recorded well. And there was definitely an interesting process, but I think it's created a really unique album.
Because you also released a documentary alongside the album, or very close to, where you actually go behind the scenes a little bit. We got to see you pulling up that live track machine. Did you guys, comparing this recording to the rest of your recordings, do you feel having the audience there really added something?
Yeah, I
think. Yeah. It's like there's a whole list of variables that kind of add a certain quality to it. Like, so obviously you've got the audience and you've got the performance side of things, but even just the sound, like you've got the sound of the room, you've got the air, like there's an ambience to the whole recording that kind of makes up the whole experience as the listener. So, obviously we're hopefully on the top of our game because we're playing to 2,000 people, but there's also just a certain sound that 2,000 people in a room makes when the music is going through the air. So.
Oh, definitely. Another question, we were kind of talking about this previously, Marcus, we were wondering, especially right now, because we're all still kind of in isolation, we're coming out of it slowly, but it's still definitely a factor. Do you feel like live performance albums are kind of more important now or hit a bit differently?
I think so. I think people are really hungry to have the live experience, and so it's the next best thing, really, hearing a live a recording from a live gig. And there's lots of our fans that have been really excited, saying that they were there on a certain night, and they're hoping to hear songs from that night. And it sounds like it's a really special thing for them to be able to hear that back on an album again. So, and I know that us in the band, we love listening to live soundtracks. I've been listening to Live from the Isle of Wight festival there recently and rediscovering some music from 60s and 70s some of those live recordings are just amazing. And they're on a windy stage in front of a bunch of people, and there's a bunch of things going wrong, but it sounds amazing.
Yeah, definitely. I can see on your website you still have some international dates scheduled for later in the year. Is it looking like that'll go ahead at this stage? Do you have any idea what's...
This guy. Sorry. Yeah. Look, serious answer. Who knows? We really don't know anything at the moment. I mean, even touring domestically seems like such an uncertain time. So we're hoping for the best, but we're also realistic about being socially responsible.
Yeah, definitely. What are your isolation setups like at the moment?
Well, Liam's got a pretty bloody sweet. Look at he's got a tape machine behind him.
Yeah, so I built in my shed. I built a soundproof studio because obviously being a drummer, it's your neighbors aren't going to love you. So I soundproofed a room in the shed at my place about 2 years ago, and I haven't had a huge amount of time in the last 2 years because I've been touring so much to actually use it. So being in isolation here has been really good to make use of the studio. And so far, the neighbors haven't called the cops once. So seems to be working pretty good.
Yeah, beautiful. What about yourself, Brendan?
Well, I don't have anything near as exciting as that, unfortunately. It's just, me and my house with just me and my dog, but we're making the best of it. I'm really lucky because I live sort of outside of the city in a really nice area, so I can still go for nice walks along the river and sort of do some outdoor activities. So it's, very lucky.
Oh, cool. Are you able to get into the studio in Warrandyte, or are you sort of sticking to your areas at the moment?
I haven't been in the studio for a while. Me and Liam were in a different studio the other day together, but I mean, we haven't been able to until recently because of the restrictions. So we actually haven't been able to be in the same room for a while. And I saw Liam for the first time in months on Friday. We were in a studio together. So yeah.
I had some weird idea like you all shared a house or something. But
it kind of was like that at one period. I mean, so Josh lives next door to me, and that's the house that he grew up in. And that's where the studio is as well. So it's definitely a sort of a central hub as far as, when we were teenagers, we were there every weekend and playing music, and we're always recording there and having parties there and whatnot. So, I mean, it is kind of like that, but I think, the older we all get and everyone's sort of starting to have families, it's kind of, that hippie commune life is, the whole the flower power has died,
And talking about your dog, obviously your main sidekick for your own interview show, you actually have your own The Not So Late show. I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about that, because I know you also have Missy Higgins coming up soon. Okay, and she has a new merch.
Missy Higgins was last night, actually. So, yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, it's been really fun. It's a way for me to kind of pass the time, because I've found it really hard to write music during this period. Everyone's kind of has that assumption that because a musician has free time that they're going to be a creative powerhouse, but I sort of need to be living life and having experiences to get inspiration. So yeah, I just started doing a little show on our Instagram Live and interviewing friends, and sort of started to get some people that we sort of looked up to when we were starting music. So it's been really cool to connect with them, and I don't know, hopefully people are enjoying it.
Yeah, no, I talked a little bit yesterday, said next Sunday, this last night. Yeah, it's a really good experience to see people kind of, all these artists connecting in ways that we didn't think they could, especially as an audience. I was wondering if you guys have made any particular connections with any artists you didn't think you would have during these isolation times.
Well, I mean, every guest I've had on the show, I'm like, I didn't think that they would do it. But I mean, the thing I'm learning is that kind of the more experienced, like the kind of the veterans, so to speak, or the people who have been at it for the longest, and who have had the most experience and success in the industry, they've been the most easygoing and willing to do something like that. So it's actually, yeah, it's quite refreshing to kind of not only talk to some of your idols and heroes, but to then find out that they're, you know, really, really nice people and super keen and up for anything. So yeah, it's been nice to connect on that level. And yeah, there's been been some good conversations, and I've learned a lot from them. So what about you, Liam? You've been catching up with anyone cool?
Maybe
Besides
not so
me.
cool and known. Besides Brendan, on Instagram, a lot of stuff. I've just been posting videos from the studio of things I've been practicing and recording and sending them out, and then people are interacting with me on Instagram and adding different instruments and layering things up. So it's been cool to engage with some people from Europe and America, and build a bit of a community. It's been an interesting way and time to connect with people over the internet, and in a really positive way.
Yeah, have you noticed any like difference in your reach over now that everyone's just basically getting everything online and there's no live shows?
Yeah, I think so. I've seen more interaction with people. People have time and energy to explore. I think a lot of people, unfortunately, have been out of work and not been able to leave home in different situations. They're just finding other ways to connect. And I think there's a lot of people being really creative at the moment. I think there's going to be a lot of, when the world hopefully returns to normal, whatever that looks like, there's going to be a lot of creative output, that people are just getting so creative through this time, doing things they've thought they wanted to do for so long, and now they're kind of, the only thing stopping themselves is themselves. So they're sort of getting motivated and getting creative.
Yeah, awesome. Well, hopefully your live album, delivers that to people. Almost reaching our time. Darcy, do you have anything else you'd want to add?
I think that's for me. Obviously, we found out that both you boys are amazing to us. Thank you so much again for joining us. We're wondering where we can find you guys, the Teskey Brothers, but also your personal accounts and what you guys might have next coming up. Obviously, it's a bit hard to know exactly, but did you guys have anything in the plans? Any kind of wireless isolation shows we can come to or anything in the likes?
People can tune in to the Teskey Brothers Instagram live every Sunday night, where I have a different musical guest and we do an interview and have performances called the Not So Late Show. Or they can follow me at BB Bad Love, or Liam at Liam Goff Drums. But yeah, there's some things in the works. I'm not sure if I can announce them, but there's some streaming kind of creative things happening that we'll probably announce probably this week, I would say. But yeah, I mean, obviously touring is it's a who knows situation, but we're just looking at trying to keep busy and, find ways to keep connected with our audience. So yeah, there's a few things in the works.
Awesome. Well, with that, thank you so much for joining us, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure. And hopefully we'll get to see you guys again soon, and hopefully in person after all this has kind of settled down a little bit.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks for having fun.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Darcy and Marcus.
Yeah. Cheers, Liam and Brendan.
Guys, thank you again so much to Liam and Brendan from the Teskey Brothers. So if you'd like to go find out more of their music or content, or to see more of them, you can find them at the Teskey Brothers on Instagram, as well as on Facebook and on Spotify. If you'd like to see anything more from us, you can find us at Instagram on 1700_TV, YouTube at 1700TV, and on Facebook as just 1700. Again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Me and Marcus had an absolute blast, and we hope to see you guys again soon. See you next time.